So I was regular assembly line worker. My first video was a Chrysler video. My music manager, who was my manager, Rick, shout out to Rick, Rick Lawrence, RL Entertainment. He was working at the plant. He the one who really got me in the plant working. I ended up doing a lot of videos for them. Like they literally like pulled me off the line, gave me like a big office. But after so long, I just got tired, bro. Like, honestly, listening to, like, the other people, the older people that worked on my line, that's been there for 30 years, 40 years, pushing retirement, you know, backs messed up, wrists messed up, carpal tunnel. This can't be me. I can't retire from here. I can't look up 30 years from now, you know, and still working at the plant. I was able to get free when I needed to, but it still was like I still was on lock. I still had to ask for permission to do things, you know. So God, you know, he gave me a word one day. You know, he said, you can either be the king of the jungle or you can be the king of the zoo, you know, and referring to himself as a lion.
Log on.
Right here. Yeah.
What's going on, my good peoples? This your man's Byron B.Rut Rutley, aka the little big fella, the Midwest mogul, the mitten-made midget, and I want to thank you for tuning in to The Backstage. Now, The Backstage is a podcast show right here where we discuss all things behind the scenes. I'm talking about video production, music production, photography, live entertainment, and more. Bringing you the best in the business, talking about the pros, the cons, and the challenges we face as industry professionals. This guest that I want to introduce to you today is a rising video director from Detroit, Michigan. A self-taught video director that have over 20 million views on YouTube. The videos that he directed and produced feature the legendary Grammy Award-winning Clark sisters, Kiera Sheard, Snoop Dogg, and even the legendary JD, Jermaine Dupri. The videos have played on MTV, BET, and VH1. And I'm glad to call this guy my homeboy, my friend, my brother. Welcome, Dollah Jones. Derek Dollah Jones.
What's up? What's up,
What's happening, boss man?
Oh, man, you got it, man. Feeling good, man. Down here in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We still in the 70s, you know, sunny skies.
Oh, man. You gonna drop it on us like that? Up
You
here
know.
in Michigan, man, it's cold, bruh.
Yeah, last time I checked, I seen it was a blizzard up there or something going on. Y'all got it bad right now.
Bruh, they said we're gonna get like 4 inches today.
Hey, but you know what? It's time for that, man. You know, it's Christmas time, you know, so y'all deserve a little snow. But I'm gonna let y'all keep it up there, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just keep it up there. I'll come up there for Christmas and get a little bit of it.
All right, because I was gonna say next time I come down to the A, man, I'm gonna have to bring some of this snow with me.
Yeah, no. Keep that.
So, bro,
Yo,
from Detroit, now you in Atlanta. Talk to me. How did you make that happen?
well, I kind of always I always enjoyed the vibes in Atlanta. I've always been visiting Atlanta over the years.
Yeah.
And it's always just that good Southern hospitality, then the weather, man. And not to mention the film industry down here is booming now, man. The music industry, the film industry, it's booming, especially for people, you know what I'm saying, black people of color.
Yeah.
So it just was the move to make, you know what I'm saying? I love Detroit. Detroit is where I'm from, but I just felt like it was just more opportunity down here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention the weather.
Right.
That cold, I don't know. I can't keep doing that cold. It's a different cold, brother. It's a different cold. I don't know if you ever tried to shoot outside in the cold with no glove.
I think one time.
Yeah, no, it's not a good feeling, man. It's not a good feeling.
And it's not on your equipment too, because equipment can freeze up and flake.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can have that Antarctica weather. So.
Right. I feel you. So let's get into it. So from Detroit, Michigan, a lot of people, before we even get into video production, there
Okay.
are a lot of people that do know you as an artist.
Mhm.
So you
Oh yeah.
started off as an artist.
Yeah, man. So back in the day, you know what I'm saying, a long time ago, man. I used to actually, when I first started, I started like around maybe 14. I started off as a gospel rapper at my
What?
church. Yeah, man. I
Didn't
was
know
a
that.
gospel rapper. I started off like that. How it started was I had no idea. I never thought that I would be a rapper, but we at my church we had a step team and I
Mm.
was on the step team and me and my two homies, my boy DJ and Cornell, I don't know how we ended. They gave us a rap. Okay, they gave us a rap. It was already wrote. It was already made. We was just like performing somebody's song.
Yeah.
And we all had our own part, and we performed it. At our church. We used to have like these. Man, I don't know if it was like a talent show or something, but every now and again we have these big events where everybody will just do something, sing,
Mm.
dance, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? So me and my homies we did a rap. And the feeling that I got from doing that performance, man, it was just fun, man. It was just fun, man. It was like, I don't know, it just changed my life, the way I was looking at things, because I always wanted to be a hooper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At first, a hooper, it was like, I wanted to be a hooper growing up, like any other kid, that plays sports, you want to be a hooper, or, I mean, my main thing was to be an entrepreneur, but, that came a little bit later after that. But I got into the music doing that. We started writing our own songs, and then we was traveling around, man, at doing churches, doing AIM conventions and stuff, performing, and
Really?
it was kind of cool. Yeah, yeah. And then I guess I kind of ventured off later on and started doing other type of music. We was traveling, we was doing tours in the high schools. Then we started traveling the country.
Mm.
Um, it just kind of just snowballed up,
So
and
it
that's
was a
not really.
group.
No, at first it was a group. I was in a group when I did gospel, but then eventually I started doing, secular music
Yeah.
on my own. And it went well for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It went well for a while, but that kind of I'm kind of a laid back, chill, behind the scenes type of person. So it started to get too much for me. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm.
being and people all in your face and knowing all your business and stuff like that, like it
Mm-hmm.
just began to be too much for me. Like I don't like people just staring at me, and I'm not a spotlight type person. I love to be behind the scenes.
Yeah. I hear
But
that.
that's what ultimately led to me being a director, because that's another thing that I had no idea that that's what I would be. I wasn't trying to be this. I ended up being a director, just pretty much going. I started off doing graphics, my own graphics, being an artist, being an artist and not
Mm-hmm.
having a lot of money. I wanted a certain level of quality that I couldn't afford.
Mm.
So I started to teach myself how to do the things that I wanted. I was designing my own MySpace page and my website and everything. Like I would like break down like Chris Brown and Trey Songz and Bow
Mm.
Wow and them, break down, because I was young then, what I'm saying? I'm still in high school.
Yeah.
And I would break down, their pictures and their flyers and all of their stuff and make my stuff look like theirs.
Wow.
And then yeah. And then eventually as I, grew up, I just developed better skills. I always had an eye for quality, you know. And then one thing led to another. Next thing I know, I had a camera. I was doing photography, and then from photography, that just turned into videos. And I was doing like my friends' videos and people that I know. I was doing it for free.
Mm.
Um, and then eventually, people just kept asking me to do their videos. I wasn't promoting; they was asking me. So I'm like, well, people started giving me money. I wasn't even charging, but they was giving me money to do it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
So
eventually, it started. Go
what
ahead.
was that time frame between you being an artist and transitioning to doing your own graphics, doing your own artwork, running your own social media pages? What was that time frame? How did that look?
I mean, that was simultaneously. I was doing that. Did all of my as an artist. So I was recording. I
Mm.
was recording myself. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my graphics. I was doing my pictures. I was doing everything, like everything. I had my shirts. I was pressing up my own shirts. I was doing like literally a one-stop shop. I did everything,
Mm.
everything myself. Designed everything and did everything the whole
Nice.
time. Mm, I probably did that for about 10 years, you know, like
Wow.
about 10 years, yeah.
And I
Just,
remember hearing your music on the radio. I remember seeing you do big shows in Detroit, and I'm like, yo, this dude, like, he popping.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
for a time, what was it that uh, took you away from doing music? Was it getting so busy in videography, or what was it that made you step back and say, you know what, let me chill for a minute?
Um, I don't want to say the passion kind of just died for it, but I kind of just I wasn't really feeling it as much as I was anymore. You know, I was rethinking, you know, my career plan. You know, it wasn't going as far as I would wanted it to go. You know, it was just taking so much. Like to be an artist, man, it takes so much, man. You
Yeah.
gotta be on in all the time. It's a lot of work, man. And to me, it just was like it was tiring. You know, especially when it was just me and my manager basically. So it was two of us, and you know, it take big teams to do things, man, and not just
Mm-hmm.
doing so much on my own. I think I was kind of like burning myself out to where it wasn't really. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I was in the beginning.
Mm.
You know, so I had so after I doing rapping, I sat down with myself and I was thinking about like what am I doing here? What is it that I like to do? Is this what I even want to do anymore? So I started to do production. You know, I was like, I think being a producer probably would be better for me because being a producer and helping out with songs where I can produce multiple songs with multiple artists and they'll take their time and they'll take their energy and they'll take their money
Mm-hmm.
and and push, you know, versus me having to do all of that on my own. So I looked at it from that point, and then I still ended up doing graphics for people and videos. And then when I got into videos, it kind of like it satisfied everything for me. My love for music, my love for traveling, my love to create overall. So I kind of fell in love with it, and it was like easy. It was like second nature. Like the
Mm.
programs that I was using, it was all the same. It was no Photoshop is no different than to me a visual version of Pro Tools,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then Premiere is like Photoshop, you know, in terms of like layers and color grading and things like that. So it wasn't hard for me to learn at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
So
So
you get into
Oh,
get
videography.
into
yeah, I did.
videography.
When I did decide to take a break from music, I went back to school. You know,
Mm.
so I went to Fair State University. I went to Specs Howard Broadcast School, but I more so went for a radio to learn how the radio work. You know,
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to be in the radio, so I went to school, learned that, went and did an internship at JLP. Then I was like, you know what, this is not what I want to do either. You know, so I was just trying to find myself, man, trying to figure out what it is that I really wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do what I was going to school, what I was going to college for. Um, you know, I didn't really want like a regular 9 to 5 job like that.
Mm.
Yeah. And I did. I had a job. I had a 9 to 5. I had a good job, you know, working at the factory, but it just wasn't for me, man. I'm just not a 9 to 5 type of person.
Mm.
So,
I feel that.
mhm.
So this learning curve, when you got
Okay.
into videography, what was it like? What did you use to educate yourself in video production and editing and cinematography, which is a form of film? How did you begin to educate yourself?
YouTube University, man.
Yes, sir.
YouTube University and trial and error. So, you know, when I got my camera, like I'm gonna push all the buttons. I go through all the settings.
Yeah.
I want to know, okay, because I'm a visual learner. Me reading about it is one thing, but me sitting there and pushing the button and seeing just what happens. What happens when you shoot like this? What happens when you know, turn this dial? What happens when that happens? You know, and that's just how I learned. I made a lot of mistakes, and that's how I learned from making a lot of mistakes.
Mm. What was your first camera?
My first camera was a Canon T3i. Yeah, I had a Canon T3i with the $100 50mm lens on it.
Yeah, I had
No
one of them joints.
stabilizer, no nothing, man. I was just shooting with it.
Bro,
And it was coming out pretty good though. I liked it.
T3i.
Yeah, that was my first camera. Then I went from there, and then I graduated to a 5D Mark III.
That's a big jump.
Yeah,
That's a
I had a
big
five.
jump.
Yeah, I had a 5D Mark III.
Yeah.
Uh, man, I was dedicated, man. I was like, I knew I wanted that camera, so I
Yeah.
would book enough gigs and save my money up, and then get it, and then keep moving.
From a T3i.
Yeah.
Hold on. For those of you that don't understand video terminology, okay? And let me know if this sound accurate or not. If you disagree, let me know. So, when it comes to Canon cameras,
Mm.
the T class of cameras is like the elementary of the Canon family. Am I lying?
No, you're not.
The T3i is like the third grader.
Yeah.
And then to a 5D, that's like the middle school
Mm.
of the Canon family. And then you have the C class, which is all the C line of which stand for cinema cameras. So you went from like a third grade camera
Mm.
straight up to like the 8th grade.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why though. I did that because I had this bright idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a photographer.
Mm.
So I was looking at what's the best camera for a photographer, and at the time it was the Mark D, the 3. So that's what I got.
5D Mark
And then
III?
I happened to shoot videos, yeah. So I bought it to shoot pictures because I wanted to take really good pictures.
Yeah.
And I was using my network that I had built doing music, around the city to get clients, because there was my homies. My people's like, yo, let me shoot your video, let me shoot your pictures. Like I said, I still was shooting for like no money, like very little money, just to develop my skills and to get my name around as a photographer.
Yeah.
But then I got bored of that. And I had another decision to make. I'm like, okay, I'm doing pictures, I'm doing videos. It's still too much. I got to pick one or the other. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do the video. So after that, I was like, okay, well, let me get another camera then. Let me get a camera that's better for videos. And so I did a lot of research. I do a lot of research because I get FOMO, man. Like I have to look at every camera.
Yeah.
Look at all the specs. I had to look at all the videos of people that was using the camera, and that led me to what was like my baby. That I shot a lot of my first videos on was the A6300, the Sony A6300. That was like that when my video game elevated, when I got that camera right there.
Yeah. What are some of the videos you shot with that?
The Hang On video was the probably one of my biggest videos.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You shot Hang On?
Man, I shot Hang
with
On
with the Sony A6700?
A6700 and a Ronin S. I mean, a Ronin M. A Ronin M.
Yeah.
I didn't have no lights. I didn't have no reflectors.
Yeah.
I didn't have none of that, man. And I shot it with this thing on the fly. You know what I'm saying?
So you shot this right here?
Yes, sir.
With the A6700?
6300.
6300.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we had a lot of lights inside when we was inside. For that scene, for the indoor scene. But out there with keys out there, that's at Belle Isle, man. We just at Belle Isle.
Yeah.
It's just out there. Should I had key out there, have my little Bluetooth radio.
Wow.
Yeah, I got this.
I would have thought this was the red, yo. I would have thought that this was the red.
Yeah. No, man. No. I said, all this stuff shooting in the house, man. No lights. No nothing, man. Just.
So that camera is great in low light situations.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I shot it.
Wow.
And it took me so long, bro, just to color grade and like try to like get it to look, you know what I'm saying, professional. Yeah. But it came out. It was just coming out good, man. I was just working with the elements, man. When you got that good sunlight and the angle, you see how I got that. I was working that sun flare that was hitting. You know.
Yeah.
It did a lot for me.
So let me ask you this. So, because this is kind of what I use. This is what I think. I think the greater you shoot the video, the less effects you have to use.
Yes.
You ain't got to use that much, transitions and
Honestly,
all this
yeah.
crazy stuff. You ain't got to do all that. If the
Yeah,
shots look good.
Yeah, I like natural looks. I don't use LUTs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like it like that, man. It just was good, man. There's good vibes just coming out, man. We shot this indoor scene right here.
Yeah.
And that was actually my daughter and her sister.
Where at? Right here?
Back there, the little girls.
Oh, that was in the doorway?
Open the door, yeah. When you open the doorway.
Did I go back too far?
Yeah, you
probably
went back
did. Right here.
Right there, yep. The
That's
little one in the front is mine.
Wow. Sweet.
Yeah, man. And then this is at my church in the fellowship hall,
Yeah.
We turned the lights out. I had my homie that actually got me into photography, DJ Surgeon, was my DJ.
Shout out.
The producer, yeah. Shout out DJ Surgeon. He came out. He have a lighting company. He came out with the lights. I just have him in the background, put a bunch of fog in there.
Bro, lighting makes the difference.
Lighting is the major, is the most important part of filming, brother.
Would you agree? Lighting is what separates a good video from a great video.
Yes, lighting is the most important part.
Yeah.
As you see, I'm shooting with the $1,500 camera, $1,200 camera. I didn't have no major lens. I had a Canon. Canon Sigma. I used a Sigma 18 to 35.
Yeah.
The 50 millimeter Sigma art lens.
Yeah. What was it like putting this video together? Like, did you come up with all the concept, or did you say, "Hey, what ideas do you guys have, and let me add to it"?
So I had the locations and the idea with the lighting and everything, and then the scenes in between with the acting. That was a friend of mine's, actually my daughter's mother. Shouts out to Dana Conway. She had all the drama and stuff. She directed a lot of like plays and movies and stuff. So I called her like, "Yo, I need you to help put in on this video," So she got me together on that part. And it just came together real good, man. We didn't ever even think that this video would go like it did. Like the song already went. The song was like #1 and on billboards and stuff like that. So of course the video is funny because J. Drew told me, before it even went, he was like, "Man, this is going #1. It's gonna go crazy." He kept saying it's going crazy. You gonna see, you got to talk. It's gonna go crazy. It's going. And for sure, it was on the radio. And I would be out of town, it'd be on the radio, and so it did major things.
I was hearing it everywhere.
Really like this record, People really like the record, so I was blessed to be the one to shoot that.
How did that even happen? How did that come about for you to direct and produce this video?
Well, this is my church, man. I grew up we was raised at me and Drew and them, we grew up together.
Yeah.
So I think I approached. They was one of the people that I was shooting stuff for free. You know what I'm saying? When I was like, that's how I hit them. Like, yo, I'll shoot y'all. Let me shoot y'all stuff. I do it. You know what I'm saying? For the free.
Yeah.
And I guess they just liked it. And then they real family oriented. Everybody that works with them is pretty much family or been around for years. You know what I'm saying? They don't just outside people like that. So me just being around and being in the circle already. It was kind of like, oh, it was family. Come on, let's go. So it was no pressure or nothing like that because it was family. So I was able to mess up and try, things, and tell them like, yo, they gave me the time to work on it. They wasn't rushing me, so I had time to perfect the colors. And, even though it's still not the best, but I got it, for 6,300, what I'm saying? I got to do what it needs to do, So that's how that came out. Yeah.
So how many views are we at? I'm sorry, hold on. Let's back up before we even get to that. So you taught yourself by trial and error, watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's how you began to learn frame rates, ISOs, shutters, all that good stuff. So what was that time like between you first picking up a camera and then to get to do this? Like, what was that process of timeline? How long was it? Because was this your first big video, or was this not?
Yeah, this is my first big video. Like, this is my first.
D.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, like I
This
literally
is your
had
first
just
big
started.
joint.
Yeah, I had just started. I was just not starting to film.
This
That
only like a year or two. This ain't even that old.
no, it's a couple of years. I just started filming not too long ago. Yeah, it wasn't long, brother. It
Wow.
months. I mean, literally months. I feel like this was probably like when I got that camera. This might have been the first video that I shot on that camera.
Really?
Like, I mean, I was playing around with it, but this might have been the first
Got you.
video shot on it. Um, yeah, because I used the money. Yeah, I had used like my deposit to buy like the Ronin. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, definitely.
That's what's up. So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
this video is at 14 million views. I remember when the video first hit like a million. And
Yeah, I do
then
too.
two.
Actually, it was a big deal. It was like a million. Like, wow. Yeah,
So
and
this
then
came
like the
out.
next time I looked at it, it was at
Yeah.
12 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think now it's at 14 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So
Yeah, ready to go.
self-taught by
Mm-hmm.
looking on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
getting in photography and then video, saying, I think I'm gonna do this. What was the process for you to say, okay, I love what I do. I'm having a ball. This is what I want to do for sure, like for the long haul. What was that process transitioning off the job?
Oh man. So to give you the backstory with Chrysler too, man, it was crazy in Chrysler because I actually ended up doing work for Chrysler. So I was regular assembly line worker, working there. Ended up working there for 7 years.
Mm.
Um, and it's crazy because actually my real first video, my first video was a Chrysler video. It was a situation where, so
Wait a
my
minute.
man,
Whoa. What?
yeah. So I'm about to tell you, it was crazy. This is how crazy it worked. You know what I'm saying? This is how God. I know this is what God gave for me to do
Yeah.
because so my manager, my music manager, who was my manager, Rick. Shout out to Rick, Rick Lawrence, RL Entertainment. He was working at the plant. He the one who really got me in the plant working,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a big time networker and and all that stuff. So I was doing design and I was doing like I was just trying videos. Like I hadn't shot an official video, but I was just trying the videos. And
Mm-hmm.
he had this idea where he was trying to he wanted to shoot a commercial for the car that we was working that was building, which
Mm.
was like a Chrysler 200 or so. He ended up getting us in the office with the like plant manager and the people in marketing and stuff like that. It was crazy. Like we in this meeting with them, trying to pitch them an idea for a commercial.
Was he a supervisor or something in the plant?
No, he wasn't. He was like me. He was just, we was just on the line,
Yo.
Yeah. So we end up in this big meeting with the marketing company and the plant managers and all these people, pitching them this idea to do a commercial that I was going to film.
Yeah.
That I haven't shot no videos yet, but I was going to film this video,
Wow.
this commercial. So they was like, all right, let us see what you got. They gave us a couple of days to come up with like a reference video or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy got me. So, but anyway,
Put you on the spot.
put me on the spot, So we worked it out together.
Wow.
So we came up with a commercial. We put a commercial together. I grabbed some stuff off the internet, off of YouTube and stuff, and I filmed some things, and I put together a video, a commercial for them. And they just loved it. Now it wasn't the best video, but I don't know. They loved the video, and I ended up shooting a lot of videos for them. Like a lot of videos, like in-house videos for morale and stuff like that. And then like I started doing it for other plants. So they had me in class, and then they started me doing it for other plants, and it was a lot, man. I ended up doing like the last thing I did before I left there. Like I did like this major campaign.
Bro, I need to pull that up right now. What these videos called? They on YouTube?
know what? Let me see if I can find. Yeah, I did a video. Shout out to this guy, Big Gov. Let me see. Let me pull it up right quick. I got a
Okay.
second to pull
Do
it
your
up.
thing.
But yeah, man. Yeah. So that was my first video was in there.
Mm.
It was it was crazy.
So how did this guy have faith in you? Like, and you didn't even, you had little experience. How did he just have faith in you? Hey man, this guy, hey y'all, he can do it. He can pull off a commercial for Chrysler. Was it all on the strength of his experience with you, just having trust in you, or
Yeah. So yeah, this is like my manager slash like best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like we hung out like all the time. He knew what we was doing. You know. But we never limited ourselves. You know, we always had big dreams and big goals. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So that's that's how that happened. That's exactly how that happened.
wow,
I'm trying to find this. Yeah, but
that's a major faith, man, to be like, hey, we don't got nothing we can show you right now, but just give us a few days, put
mhm.
something
And they
together.
listened to us, yeah, and then we delivered, and then it just I ended up doing a lot of videos for them. Like they literally like pulled me off the line, gave me like a big office, with a computer and everything. You know, even they computers. I was like, man, I can't. They was had some PCs. I'm like, man, I can't work on this. So they went out and got me a Mac. You know what I'm saying? They got me a
Wow.
Mac. Yeah, they was bringing me cameras and stuff. They had me working with the Google people that came in and did like it was crazy, man. They really showed me a lot of love, man. I ended up meeting the actual CEO of Chrysler. We had a big, oh my God, I performed too. We had a we had a big town hall in front of 5,000 people, man. It was on the news and everything. They had me at the auto show speaking on behalf of the plant. I was on magazines
Where
and
is
everything.
this footage, bro? I need to see this.
It's on YouTube, man. I gotta. I'm about to I'm about to text my manager right now while we're on the line. I didn't even
Yeah,
think before the interview. But
I ain't even tripping. I can edit it in later.
okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
So.
you start doing research,
mm,
looking up how this videography works.
mm,
Get you a camera, get you a Ronin.
mm.
So did you shoot the Chrysler stuff first and then the Hang On music video, or what was that timeline like?
Yeah, I actually did. I shot the hang on after. I shot the hang on. I believe I shot hang on after I shot the Chrysler video because I know Chrysler was like my first. That was my first video for sure. Because I'm like I ain't even shot a video yet,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to shoot this commercial. But I mean, honestly, I was thinking like more so along the lines of we just gonna create the concept of the video, and then they I have the people come in with $1 million equipment and redo it.
Yeah.
But they ended up liking what we did. So it was cool. But to go back to what we originally were talking about, how I transitioned from a 9 to 5 to full time videographer
Mhm.
director. Um, so I worked there for 7 years. So at this point, I was shooting videos on the weekend and working on a line full time. Now, mind you, working on a line, bro, depends on what you're doing. But I was doing hard work, like
Mhm.
I was literally like taking doors off and on, picking the doors up, taking them off, putting them on all the time. Like 700 cars a day, but 10 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. Sometimes they made us work on Sundays too. So that was like hard labor. And it was cool, when I got to listen to music and I used to listen to audio books and stuff like that. But after so long, I just got tired, bro. Like
Mm.
I just got tired. I'm just like honestly listening to like the other people, the older people that worked on my line that's been there for 30 years, 40 years, pushing retirement, backs messed up, wrist messed up, carpal tunnel. I just had an epiphany like, man, this can't be me. I can't retire from here. I can't look up 30 years from now, and still working at the plant.
Yeah.
Not to diss anybody that's working in the plant or nothing like that, but it's just like I had other things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do if I'm working in this plant every day. Even I was missing out on opportunities when my video career started picking up,
Yeah.
and they was asking me, "Yo, can you go to New York today, or can you go to Atlanta? Can you meet us in Florida?" And I'm like, I can't because I got to go to work, or I'm on my last strike for attendance, and I can't, what I'm saying, get off, or having videos missing due dates because I got to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I mean 4:30 in the morning to be at work at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Right.
So eventually, I remember God gave me a word, and he was like, because things was good for me in the plant because I ended up making good relationships with the union and everybody. So I was able to get free when I needed to, but it still was like I still was on lock. I still had to ask for permission to do things, you know. So God, he gave me a word one day. He said, you can either be the king of the jungle or you can be the king of the zoo, and referring to himself as a lion.
Come
That
on.
the lion at the zoo, his life is made. He don't have to hunt for food because they're gonna give him food. They give him what he want. He's comfortable in there. You're stuck in that one place.
Bro, that's a message.
But a lion in the wild, he can eat as much as he want.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? He can go where he want.
When you preach that message, I want to be front row. When you preach your first sermon,
yeah,
do you want to be
the king of the
king of the jungle or the king of the zoo?
Yeah,
that's the same exact thing that I tell people because I think we both transitioned off of our 9-to-5s around the same time. I think it was it 2019? I think we both was making that move off. And I was telling the same exact story. I was saying, hey, I don't want to be in this fishbowl no more. It's a ocean out here, and I got to go get my cut.
Yeah.
I'm about to get up out this fishbowl, bruh. And I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely, brother. It was just like, and for a while, I was stubborn. I heard it for God telling me a while to come off my job,
Yeah.
But I was scared, you know what I'm saying? I'm making $30 an hour. Consistent money, good insurance and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
I got so uncomfortable. God made me so uncomfortable where one day I just snapped for me. I pulled up to my job 5:30 in the morning, and I just sat in the parking lot, and I was just like, I just can't do this no more. And I turned back around and I went home, man.
No 2-week notice?
Man, no, I did not. I couldn't do it no more. They finally called me like, no, I take that back. Before that day, I actually did take 6 months off. I asked them, it was either 6 months or 3. Yeah, it was 6 months. I took 6 months off leave. They let me take a 3-month leave. Then at the end of 3 months, I was like, can I get an extension? Let me get an extension.
How did you do that? 3 months?
Because I had favor, man. They didn't want to let me go because I was doing things in there. I was a young dude, young black dude, working in the plant. And like I said, I was doing good things. They had me going to school, for a better position and everything. But even then, I still was like, I'm still going to be working for somebody, kissing butt, trying to get to the top. And I just didn't want to do that, man. It just wasn't. I didn't want to spend my life working on another person's dream.
Yeah.
And that's what that was. I felt like I was working hard for someone else.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to have something that I can pass along down to my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I feel like I did my time. I put in my time, the hard labor and the work. So now it's time to do my own thing. So I had to take that leap of faith and go. Like I said, God made it so uncomfortable for me to where I couldn't work one more day. I just started feeling like a slave. I felt like a slave working. It was hot some days. In the summertime they had us in there.
Yeah.
For me, it just was uncomfortable. A lot of people was fine with it. A lot of people was happy with it, and I can understand how you can be comfortable in there. You making good money, good insurance. You get your weekends off, or you can, you get your week vacation. Once a year you can go wherever you want. But to me, it just wasn't enough for me. And so I had to get up out of there. God had more for me.
Yeah. Wow, bro, that's amazing. I didn't even know that. I've been knowing you for a little minute, a couple years now, but I didn't know that you was actually doing videos for Chrysler.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna show you. They were decent though. There was some good stuff, man.
That's what's up. So what is it like doing videos for the legendary Clark sisters?
Man, the Clark sisters are, man, awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
they're just like auntie and them, man. You know what I'm saying? They're like
yeah,
they're just good energy, and they're like celebrities to the celebrities. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm out of LA,
yeah.
they are. So when I'm like out in LA and I'm with them, it's like it's no limit. Like we're gonna be anywhere, we're everywhere, VIP. You know, it's just cool. Like, and they're just like they crack jokes, man. Like they're funny. Like they're funny to be around. They're just good, loving people. Anytime they see me, hey, they're especially my first lady. I love my first lady. You know, and they just, you know, Karen Clark Shear is my first lady.
Yeah.
So and they're just like so happy to see you, and they're just loving, man. They're just loving and fun, man. I
Mm.
love being around them, man. They're easy. They're just like, and then oh yeah, and then they're not. You know, when we're working with them, it's not no long day with them because when they get tired, they tell
They
you like,
out.
okay. Are we done? Okay. You know, so when we work with them, we got to be on it because we only got like they're gonna give you maybe like 4 hours. You
Yeah.
know, and then I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Bro, that's
Yeah.
amazing, man. This
Yeah,
video
so
we
yeah.
watching now, you directed this video.
So me and Jay Drew, me, Jay Drew, and the animator Italy and his team out of Russia, you
Mm.
know, we worked and put this together. You know, I had this vision for a while before I even presented. I'm like, man, I want to do an animated video with them. You
Yeah.
know, and I was trying to. I was watching tutorials and everything, trying to learn how to do it, you know, myself. But then I'm in this new thing where it's like I can't do everything, Jones.
You
You can't
can't.
do everything. You got to delegate. So I searched the internet, I searched the world
Yeah.
for the best videographers that I can, I mean, best animators that I can find, and I came across V Plus Animation. These
Mm.
guys, they was doing stuff for like Will Smith and the Bad Boys and like all major people, you know.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him, and then I reached out to Drew, you know, and I told him my idea. And of course, Drew was full of a lot of ideas. So he put his ideas on top of that, and then we went to Vitaly, and they put their ideas on top of that, and
Mm.
this is what we came up with, you know. So we really
Wow.
just wanted the concept was just really them just in a time where the world right now is just riots and police brutality and just everything that was going on. This song was about his
Yeah.
love spreading the world. So they just was going over the world, just spreading the love from Detroit to Cali to all over the world. You
Yeah.
know, and of course Snoop is on this record right here. Faith Evans helped write the record. You know,
Mm.
and I think some of her backgrounds might even be in there somewhere on the record. So
Yeah.
this was cool, man. It was cool, man. Everybody loved it. Everybody's cracking up, man. At the end of the video, you will see Maddie Moss Clark. That was something that I gave to my mom. Was like, you know, it'd be cool if you put Dr. Maddie Moss in there.
She
So
said
I'm like,
that?
yeah, my mom did. You know, so
Wow. That's what's up.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on in there. You know what I'm saying? That was like probably one of the highlights of the video. You know, because it's like a
Yeah.
little surprise at the end. If you watch it long enough to the end,
Mm.
you will see that a lot of people don't watch videos to the end once they start seeing credits and stuff.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, but yeah, that was cool, man.
Man, that's what's up. So
Mm-hmm.
along with the legendary Clark sisters, Snoop, you've done work with the legendary JD. Like everybody can't say that. I think I seen us. Was it a studio session or it
Yeah,
was
so
something
that
I
was
saw?
another thing I was connected with. You know, like I said, working with the Clark sisters, man, it's like they the celebrity to celebrity. So working with them alone
Here you
just
go.
opens so many doors for you. Yeah, there she go right there.
Legendary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Legendary.
yes, sir. So working with the Clark sisters, they opened a lot of doors, man. So working with JD was a situation where I was doing the Clark sisters documentary, you know, and of course that was the song right there. He produced the song. So as a part of his documentary, I ended up being in the studio with him. And I didn't even know he was going to be there. You know, they told me, you know, hey, come and we just want you to film everything. You know, just film everything. You know, so on the way to the studio, I'm in the studio with Cali. I'm in Cali with
Yeah.
Jay Drew driving. You know, on our way to the studio. After which we just came from. We did the View. We was on the. We did the View. You know, they showed some of my work on the View and everything. And and He like, you met JD? I'm like, JD who? Jermaine Dupri. He just saying it like it's just our homie, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I haven't, you know. He like, I want you to feel him, you know. And so it was cool, you know, being in there the whole time. Man, we was literally in the studio for like 12 hours.
Wow.
You know, just seeing the whole filming the whole entire process, the of making a record, creating a record, recording it. It was just awesome, man. It was just a good, awesome time, man. Just the good vibes and everything, man. So,
Wow. What was it like working with him? Is he cool?
oh man, he cool, man. He cool as a fan, man. He in there. He's real positive. He eats healthy, you know, like us. It's just a real good positive vibe, man. It was just like family vibes, man. All the way around, man. Everybody around is just family, man. It wasn't no tension. Like it wasn't like, you know how some people get nervous when you get around people, your idols and stuff like that. Like it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like family vibes, man. Cracking jokes and just working and just all love, man. So it was cool.
Wow. Sweet, man. Not too long ago, I had the privilege of working with you on a project on Charles Laster, People Living Movement music video from Detroit.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
man, he when I got the call to for me to direct that video, I was like, yo, well, I gotta bring my mans on. If I'm gonna do it right,
Right.
if I'm gonna do this video right, I called
Uh-huh.
you. I said, bro, you gotta, yeah. I think we got one. I need you on this one. Long as long as the budget is right, I got you. And I think you
Mhm.
was in town. You was actually getting ready to come to town to work
Mhm.
on like 3 other music videos. Something
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Normally when I come to town, that's the terms is I'm coming to do multiple videos, do it, I'm
Yeah.
getting it. So yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I need you to stay at least 2-3 more days. And you like, hey,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And we got it done, man. And you know, the thing, you know, almost lost my drone and everything, but it was fun, man. It was.
oh man, the drone. You right. Let me pull that up, bro.
Yeah.
You like before anybody even got there.
Mhm.
What happened, bro? Tell the people what happened, bro.
So it was a night. It actually was a great day, man. It's probably I haven't been in Detroit in a while because I have recently moved. You know, we was in quarantine, so I've been in Atlanta for a while. So coming back to Detroit, it was. I just remember being a nice, good day,
Yeah.
and especially off of the water. So I'm so excited about. You just reminded me of so many different things about this, especially this scene right here. But but the drone situation where you know, it was a nice day to get drone shots. The water was just sparkling. You see the beautiful, that turquoise water, man. The sun was shining,
Yeah.
and when I'm testing my drone out, you know, I seen the police on the water, you know, and you know it's international water, so it wasn't no fly zone, but I wasn't flying over the water. I was just flying in the area. And I can't say 100 that I'm 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that the police shot my drone down with the laser.
It was a boat. They had that boat.
The
Remember
boat, the
that?
police was on the boat nearby, and in the middle of me trying to get my settings together, my drone just stopped and it smashed in the ground from about 50 feet in the air. And I was mad about it, you know, and it was, what was it, like an hour before the video shoot?
Man, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
an
bro.
hour, it was crunch time before everybody got there, but we ended up getting.
I'm
I,
like, come on, bro.
thank God that it was only propellers that broke on my drone, so I was able to go all the way to. I don't remember how. I know I went far to go get the propellers because I couldn't find them anywhere. Oh, I had to go to
Micro
Plymouth.
Center. Was it Micro Center?
No, I had to go out to Procam.
In Livonia.
No, you know what? I had to go to. I went to Procam and they ended up didn't having it, so I ended up having to go to Best Buy, and I ended up having to buy a whole new drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to buy a whole new drone. Remember that?
Did you have to get the
pack.
drone, or did you just have to get
Pack.
like the?
It was a pack. It was like a $700. What was it? Like $700 pack or something like that. I had to get.
Yeah.
It was like a Fly More pack or $350. I don't know. It was a lot of money though.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money. I remember that. And I had to get that because they had like extra battery packs and propellers and stuff. And then, but it worked.
Yeah.
But it ended up working. I'm glad the video turned out to be successful. Then, y'all had me to get inside of the hearse, which was kind of crazy. Oh, you got some of the BTS, huh?
I got
Okay.
it. I had to have
Yeah.
it. Let me fast forward some of this.
That was.
You did get into the hearse.
Yeah, I got into the hearse. That was crazy. Oh, there's the
So
drone right
this was this was the beginning part where you were just putting it together. I'm like, okay, cool. He got the
there. This,
drone. We going over. I think we started it up one time
yeah.
and then came back down. And you like, let me try it again. I'm like, all right, cool.
But I'm glad it happened before the shoot and not while we were in the middle of shooting.
So how important? Tell the people how important it is to test your equipment out. Think the helicopter come out ahead of time, not when the artists get there or whoever the actors are. Tell them how important it is, man. To
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. When you're on set, man, you definitely want to. I definitely recommend getting to set like an hour, 2 hours early to just make sure that everything is in place, everything is set. Because once you get your artist there, and they done paid you your money, for a certain amount of time, and then you might have people there with crazy schedules that need to get in and get out. You don't need to be wasting no time fumbling around with your equipment, or if something goes wrong, you want to make sure everything is set so that you don't have that problem. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna come out of the budget. If you can't deliver in the time that you get, sometimes it might work out for you where people are flexible, but sometimes you're dealing with high profile clients that have places to be.
yeah,
So you have to work with with the time that you have, and then sometimes you're working on a time limit. Sometimes you have to pay for the time that you have, and when you go over, that's going to cost you, and that's going to come out of your budget.
yeah,
So you got to make sure you're on time, and you're making sure that everything is running smooth.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is some of the behind the scenes footage that we did shooting. I think this whole scene right here while we shooting this, that's when you was running around.
Yeah, I had to go.
Went from store to store to store.
But you got to do what you got to do to make it work, and I'm glad we did it, and it came out awesome. See them shots. The shots came out beautiful. We couldn't have shot I feel like the video wouldn't be the same without them drone shots, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That whole scene right there on those steps wouldn't look that good.
Man, let me pull that up. This part here. Let me pull that part in the video up.
There's no way we could have got that, And technology is so awesome because back in the day, you would have had to have like a big crane jib thing, man.
Yeah.
That would have costed a whole lot of more money.
So these parts of the video here is all the same stuff we were just showing on the steps. Well, not that part there, but shout out to Charles Lester, by the way.
Shout out to Charles Lester. And that scene right there, man, you know what I'm saying? When we was out there in that battlefield, man, that was so scary.
Yeah, this was hot.
I choose to live and not die.
That drone shot right there, like, bro, those shots added so much flavor. Let me run that. Bam, right there. I think we shot everything on the stairs here. By the time you got there, my man had to go. So we was like, all right, cool. So we did everything last for the drone. We did all this stuff last, I think. Right before we shot the intro part. So, yeah, man. I mean, just the whole process of doing this whole music video was proof that stuff happened behind the scenes that we wasn't prepared for. However, we was prepared for it because as soon as bam, as soon as the drone fell before we shot the video, I was like, all right, you know what? Let me get the lens out the trunk. Right. I'll go ahead and shoot all this stuff. You go ahead and run and get whatever you got to get. So even though we wasn't expecting that, we were prepared in a sense because we didn't go lacking nowhere. You know what I mean? You had to leave and do what you had to do. Bam, we knocked all of this out. And the artist never even knew there was an issue until we were done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what makes a professional. Professional is not having
panicking.
a perfect production. It's about what do you do when things go wrong.
Yeah.
And that was just professionalism right there. We made it work. We understood. We didn't panic. We just stopped. We assessed the situation.
Yeah.
And we took action. And we got it done. And that's what professionals do.
And you came back and cleaned this up for me. You reshot this. I think we had already shot this part, but you was like, "Oh man, hold on. You turned the gain up this high. Let's do that again."
Yeah.
But
yeah, man.
That's what I wanted. That's the main message for this show that I want to hit on. Is things happen. You know what I mean? There are pros and cons to this career field. You know what I mean? A pro is you control what you get paid. You control your own hours. You control your schedule. You control what gigs you accept and what you decline.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But the con is, okay, you had to give up them benefits for right now. You know what I'm saying? For a season. You know what I mean? It's not comfortable to say, okay, I'm getting this check every week or every 2 weeks. I'm going to go over here. You know what I mean? I'm going to get out here into the jungle. And I'm going to make my own schedule. I'm going to figure out how to get my own money, you know what I mean, without having to clock in at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So those pros and cons, man, are something that's big. You know what I mean? If there's any young videographer that is looking to go full time, you know what I mean, what advice would you give them?
Oh man. First thing is you wanna before you take that leap, you gotta have confidence, in yourself, and you gotta know that this is what you want to do. Also, when you young, man, you young, don't be afraid to try, man. You can always go back. If you got to take that leap of faith. You know what I'm saying? But make sure you study and you learn your craft. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you can make money. Make sure that you're profitable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that you study hard and you try new things. Constantly learn. Like, I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly trying new techniques. Like, all the time. All the time. Still, just to keep getting better. So just know that when you're young, you gotta do it now while you're young. If you're gonna take that leap, take that leap. Don't be afraid. Step out there, because the very things that you're afraid of happening is the very things that's what's gonna push you to go. Like me, my fear was, oh, what if I don't get enough jobs? What if I don't make enough money? What if I go broke, lose my house, lose all this? But that's the exact same thing that makes me work harder when I let go. When I burnt that bridge.
Yeah.
That worked. Not when I knew that, oh, I don't have a check coming. I don't have, a bonus coming, or I can't go back there. When I knew that, I went 10 times harder, because it's like now the consequences are real. Yeah, so it's like, oh yeah, now I can lose my house, or I can, I got a daughter too, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, now that's what's pushed me. Okay, now I'm thinking about different ways. How can I make this money? Before I never called clients, I never promoted or nothing, but when the money started looking a little short, I started thinking, let me call. Hey, didn't you want to shoot a video? Yeah, come on, let's do it. I cut a deal for you. Let's do it right now.
Let's do it right now. Yes, sir.
That's the type of stuff that's going to, propel you, man, and push you harder.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The worst you can do, man, really is just fail, which is not a bad thing. It's a lesson.
Or even better than that, the worst thing you could do is not try at all. Let fear hold you back. You know what I mean?
That's right. And that's the worst thing you can do is not even try and wake up still going to the same job and wondering, what if? Go find out. Don't wonder. Go find out. Go see.
Yeah.
You be all right.
That's what's up, man. Absolutely. Yep. Now listen, it ain't for everybody. If you gonna do it, have a plan. Have a plan in place. Don't just quit your job.
Yeah.
You setting yourself up for failure. That ain't what we saying. We not saying just skip it. Go and quit your job. Tell them folks you ain't coming back. Go and cuss the boss out. Nah. if you're gonna do it, have a plan. Start
I'm gonna
trying
make
to
it.
build a little clients up.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
build your clientele up. Get a couple of consistent clients.
yeah.
Make sure that the income that you're looking to get, make sure it don't even have to outweigh what you're currently getting at your 9 to 5. I would say, and let me know if you agree or disagree, Dollar. But at least makes make at least a portion, you know what I'm saying, of the money you get at your 9 to 5. At least half or 75% of the income that you get at your 9 to 5, at least get that on the side consistently before you decide. You know, in a perfect world, I would say don't quit your job until you're making more on the side than your 9 to 5. In a perfect world. But
And
that
I
ain't
add to that,
everybody's case. Yeah.
just to get clarity, before I left my job, like I had days where I would go and I would do a job. I'll shoot a video. Like I was shooting probably 2, 3 videos on a weekend, and I would make more on that weekend than I
Yeah.
did the whole week.
Yeah.
You know, so when I started doing that, it could be hard to go back to work and work under those conditions, and
Mm-hmm.
then have your supervisor come down on you and threaten you to write you up and do all this crazy stuff when I just made more than probably what my supervisor made today.
Yeah.
You know, so it became more difficult. But if I was to do it again, and because I didn't really plan like that, I kind of did just leave because
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't take it anymore. But I would say at least stack some money up. First, make sure that you got some you got all the gear that you want. You got good enough gear to get you some jobs for the next few months. Because the cameras and stuff be changing so much. We on 6K now. You gonna
Yeah.
get a 6K right now for what I'm saying, for cheap. So what I'm saying, make sure you use that job to get your equipment, get your program, your software, and everything that you're gonna use, and then make sure you can, if you pay rent, or you staying on your own, if you living with your parents, or you living with somebody and you living rent free,
Say it.
man, you need to go off that job, man, and,
Say
and
it.
go for it and
You
do it. But if
can.
you're on your own and you got a family and stuff like that, you need to make sure that you stack some money. I would say at least 3 months. You got to be able to have at least, if you got 3 months saved up to where something happened where you couldn't bring in no money, because it's going to be times, it's going to be periods of times where you ain't gonna make no money.
Oh yeah.
I've had times. I still have times. Sometimes I go, a week or so without no money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be prepared for that. You got to be prepared on those times when you don't have money, and that's when you go into your savings.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have that money, and then find something to invest in too. I'm really into investing now and doing stocks. Whether you do stocks, whether you do forex, you gotta invest. Investment properties. Figure out a way to invest. Digital products. Find a way to flip your money. Don't just keep spending all your money. You need to spend money on things that's going to make you money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't if you're spending all your money on clothes and food and stuff like that, whatever it is that you want, or even electronic stuff that ain't gonna make you no money, you're gonna go broke. You gotta spend money. You ain't gonna never catch me spending $1,000 on something that's not gonna give me a return,
Right.
except
Say
for
that.
rent. That's the only thing. Bills is the only thing, but I'm still using, my house to make money. I find ways to make money,
Yeah.
but don't be spending, Jordans and, material things that's not giving you any money back. Like, that's just a waste. You're just gonna make yourself broke, man. And then you're going to find yourself having to get a job again.
Yeah.
So be smart, man. Learn about financial education. Make sure you got an LLC. Make sure you're paying your taxes. Make sure you know what I'm saying. You're taking advantage of the grants
Mm-hmm.
and the different money that they have for small businesses. You
Mm.
know, just really read, man, and look into it. Don't just be trying to do this just to get your name, just to be buzzing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be responsible.
Yeah.
You know.
Yo, I'm gonna have to have you back on the show. You just said something that'll take us a whole nother hour.
Oh yeah.
And that's LLC,
Yeah.
EIN number,
Yeah.
Dun and Bradstreet,
Yes, sir.
trade
Yes, sir.
lines. Like, that's stuff
Yes.
that videographers don't take the time and invest in, not just in the equipment. Okay,
Yeah.
now we got to talk about the business side now. Let's
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
insurance for your business. What if you
That's
was
sure.
subcontract and bring a partner on, and something happened on set where they trip, break their ankle? You got
Man,
insurance? Nope.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? So the business side, bro, I have to have you to come back and we got to talk about that. That's a
definitely,
whole nother side of the business, not just the creative side. See, we talked a lot about the creative side, but the business side, man, that's
man.
a, you know what I'm saying, a whole nother conversation.
Whole another monster, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, man. But before we get out of here, man,
Okay.
I listen. I had the privilege of having you to direct the joint for me, and then you also helped me on another video. Ooh wee. I think the first project we worked on together was Agape Love Remix. This was
Yeah.
my joint last year that we did. Yeah, last year. We you directed this joint for me and murdered it. I came to you, said, Dollah, you know what I'm saying, I need you to do this for me, man. What it's gonna cost. We made it happen, made it work. This was my first single off of my second album, Agape Love, the remix, featuring my boy Tony Frost. I told you my idea, you took it and ran with it and murdered it. I think we had like one, maybe two meetings, and I mean, you murdered this video. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I think we could shoot it by Detroit River. I kind of want to do rooftop. And you had the locations already, like, oh yeah, we can do that. Bet. What about here? What about here? We can go upstairs. I'm like, oh yeah, he got it.
Yeah, just like this day, the issue that we had with this day was the weather. Like
Oh
it was
yeah,
had rain, and it looked it was like very gray and cloudy. So that's why I ended up having to kind of like I did the colors so that that's why it's kind of like blue, like I wanted to
yeah.
match the water. I wanted the water.
Cause we canceled like twice, right?
Yeah, it
Like
was
2
canceled.
weeks straight. And then it was supposed to rain again. And you was like, look, man, let's just go for it. Let's just try.
Go for it. Yeah.
And God held the rain back for us.
Yeah, we made it work, and I had the color because it was very gray, but I just changed it to blue. I popped your skin tones out, you know what I'm saying, a little more,
Yeah.
and it worked, man. I like the vibe, I like the colors. I mean, them greens, I popped them green. Y'all had the white on, looking sweet, man. Up there on the roof, that was in my studio. That was nice, man. That was nice.
Now, how difficult was it from the riverfront? Let me rewind that. When we shot like the hour beforehand at the riverfront, how did you like make the color blend to the rooftop? Because I'm like, did you shoot everything raw so you could have more, you know what I'm saying, so you could have more control later? Or like, how did that work?
I didn't shoot everything flat, like most nowadays everybody shoot flat, they shoot log footage. I didn't shoot log on this video. Sometimes I shoot log, but a lot of times, I got the red. I like the way the colors in the red come out already. So I shot there, and I just, you do them you do it side by side,
Oh,
greens, colors until they match, So that's just what I did. I tweaked it, messed with the skin tones and everything until everything blended well, because we had to deal with the time of day changing and, the sun moving and like, it was a lot of different things, Yeah, but I was able to work it out, man. Able to work it out.
Bro, you killed it, bro. Killed it.
That was y'all, man. Y'all did y'all thing, man.
We tried to make it easy for you.
Yeah. I like the way it came out. I like the vibe. I like the song. I like it all.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate
Y'all
you,
energy
bro.
was on point. It's always fun. It's like a party, man. Every time we shoot.
Yeah. And then even more recently, you helped me out with a joint. This joint right here, What You Need. My goodness. Hold on, let me take this back.
Pause it right there. Pause it on that greens.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Where we at? Man.
So, yeah. We might have to just do like a whole tutorial just on just how we did this room. Because we actually used that thing that's behind you right there. We just took that thing. You had a bunch of prop money. You had a bunch of prop money. I mean, you had a whole nother idea. You had a bunch of prop money, and we was like, what can we do with it? So we just was innovative, man. And we took the money and we taped to that thing behind you.
Yeah.
And sat down and made that money.
Yeah.
It came out dope, man. It came out super dope.
Wow. This dude, I think you came up with that idea. Like, man, look, how did that work? Because I was like, hey, I want to do. I don't know. I don't remember how that came about, but I had all the prop, and I'm like, yo,
You had all the money. Yeah, you had a bunch of prop money.
yeah. And I showed you all the footage that we shot when we was in Atlanta first. Because you couldn't make it. You wasn't at the shoot in Atlanta. I think you was in LA shooting Clarksons and stuff at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So when we shot all that stuff in Atlanta, when we was working on Charles Laster video, like right after the first day of shooting, you came by. I showed you all the footage that we previously shot. And then I'm like, I just want to do something else. I want to do like one more scene and just do something else with this, all this money. And I think you was like, what if we just hung it up on a wall somewhere? And I'm like, shoot, what if we hung it on this? And we went straight to the hallway and made it work.
Yep.
People probably would have never imagined that we shot that in the hallway of my crib.
Yeah, that's fire. That
wow.
Fire. And we shot it like fast too.
Yeah, it didn't take long. What? Maybe like 20, 30 minutes?
Yep.
Because the whole video had already been shot. It was just one more little piece we wanted to shoot.
Yep.
Wow. And that's what it came. This is what it came out to look like. Beast mode. Yup. You gave us the Krog in Atlanta. Is that where we shot at?
Yeah.
The idea. So I told you about, what I would like it to look like. And you brought the ideas for the locations.
That must have been around this time last year because I seen the Christmas tree.
Was it?
I seen the Christmas tree in it. So it had to be this time last year.
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Yeah, it was. It was November. I flew down there. I flew to Atlanta to film lessons in leadership for Microsoft. I do a lot of Microsoft stuff, and we flew down there.
Big booty right there.
Yeah, T.I. was the guest speaker at it was one of them little colleges downtown. It wasn't Clark. It was another little small college, Atlanta Tech or something like that.
Georgia Tech.
No, not Georgia Tech, but it was, I think, called Atlanta Tech. It was a smaller college, and T.I. was the guest speaker. So we flew down there to film that. And I called K. Joe and I was like, yo, why don't we shoot the video while we down there? So it just worked out, man. And I just I appreciate you making it happen. Even though you wasn't even in town, you still made it happen. You know what I mean? So thanks for coming on the show, bro. My guy, Dollah Jones, everybody.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me, big dog.
Tell them where to follow you at, man.
Oh, at Dollah Jones, DOLLAHJONES. Or you can go to my website, dollahjones.com. Check me out. If you want to get you a video or anything, holla at me.
That's what's up.
To work with, man. I'm trying to expand the team too. So if anybody out there, man, y'all inspired, man, y'all want to work, you want to edit, you want to learn, you in the Atlanta area, or if you edit, you in Detroit, whatever, hit me up at Dollah Jones, DOLLAHJONES. Yes.
My guy. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, man, to the backstage with your boy, Byron B.Rut Rutley, a.k.a. the little big fella. Stay tuned for more to come. Till next time. Godspeed. Yeah.
Log on.
Right here.
Yeah.